Hello students, welcome back. Today we are going to review the second conditional with this PPT called What Would You Do If? So here we have some questions. What would you do if you won the lottery? And we have three different answers. The kid says, if I won the lottery, I would travel around the world. The woman says, if I won the lottery, I would start my own business. And the man says, if I won the lottery, I would buy a big house. Let's see another example. If you had a time machine, where would you go? The kid says, if I had a time machine, I would visit the future. The woman says, if I had a time machine, I would go back to the 80s. Finally, if I had a time machine, I wouldn't use it. It's dangerous. So, let's remember, when do we use the second conditional? We use the second conditional to talk about imaginary or improbable situations. So, if the situations are imaginary, unreal, why is it so important? Well, because humans are always thinking about unreal and imaginary situations for different reasons. For example, to imagine a different life, to ask and answer hypothetical questions, to think about consequences and make decisions, and to give advice. Let's think about the first example. What would I do if I won the lottery? In this case, you are imagining that your life is different. And also, you are asking yourself an hypothetical question. Also, to think about consequences and make decisions, we could say, if I slept more, I wouldn't be so tired. So, we think that the consequences of sleeping more are good. They are good for you because you will feel better. You would not feel so tired. And so you can make the decision of sleeping more. This is the kind of reasoning that we have as human beings. We always think about the consequences before making any important decisions. And finally, to give advice, you can put yourself in the shoes of another person by saying, if I were you, I would do something. If I were you, I would sleep more. So, how to use the second conditional? You have to think of conditions and results, or consequences. As you might remember, we have two parts of this sentence. We have the if clause, that is the condition, and the main clause, that is the result. These two parts of the sentence can be in any order. You can have the if clause first or the main clause first. Now let's see an example. If you rested more, you wouldn't feel tired. And then we can switch. You wouldn't feel tired if you rested more. In the first one, you have first the condition and then the result. And in the second one, you have first the result, you wouldn't feel tired, and then the condition, if you rested more. What about grammar? Let's see. For the if clause, you need first the if, then the subject, that in this case is you, and finally the verb in the simple past form. If, subject, and verb in the simple past. In this case, it's if you rested. Then the main clause. You have the subject, you. Then you have would or wouldn't. And you can also use apostrophe D to abbreviate would. And finally, the verb in the infinitive form. This is the verb in the base form, feel. So if you rested more, you wouldn't feel tired. Here you have some space-related questions. Just think about what would you do in these situations. For example, how would you feel if aliens arrived on Earth? I'd be scared, I'd be excited, I wouldn't care. Or another answer. What would you do if aliens landed on your street? I would hide from them, I would greet them and teach them about planet Earth. I would ask them to take me to their planet, or another answer. Would you go to space if you had the chance? Yes, I would. No, I wouldn't. And why? 4. If you were offered a one-way trip to Mars, would you go? Yes, I would. No, I wouldn't. Or it depends. And again, why? Or if you answer it depends, on what? So here I have some articles, newspapers, and forums that they are asking the same kind of questions that I just asked you. So these are imaginary situations, but the use is very real. If an alien came to Earth, what would you ask it and why? What would you do if aliens from outer space landed in your backyard? Would you do the one-way Mars trip? Or if I touched the moon, what would it feel like? These are the kind of questions that humans ask themselves and others every day. So now it's your turn to use the second conditional to imagine and to wonder. That's it for today. I hope you liked the lesson. Bye!